Hi, everybody. It's that time again. Time to open up another box. This time it's the box with comics in it. So we'll talk about the different comics that I'm collecting right now and share some thoughts about them and go from there. I don't know what's in this pile. It just arrived today. I just opened it up. So let's see what we got. The first thing we've got is the Free Comic Book Day copy of the all-new Guardians of the Galaxy. And I would have to say, I didn't really enjoy the movie. The thing that bothered me about the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the movie, is that all the characters from the first movie who were fun and just kind of adventurous, they all got really depressing in the second movie. Like, especially Rocket Raccoon, his entire attitude the entire time for the movie, it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I think it would have been more interesting if they had just played him like he was trying to be a parent to Groot or something like that. But instead, he was just constantly bashing Star-Lord the entire time until he even says in a Disney movie, you're being a dick, which apparently it's acceptable to say dick now in a Disney movie. Because we all know what that means. It's so gay. But all the characters, basically, except for Drax, was the only one who seemed to have carried over from the first movie with the same sort of attitude and fun. And so he got all the good lines. He was the funniest part of the whole movie. They played it too cutesy like I thought they would with Baby Groot. Didn't really have a story to follow. There was no reason for Ego to be there, no reason for Mantis to be there, no reason for this movie to be made. I'm not really that interested in the Guardians 3, so probably we'll just wait until that comes out on DVD or something like that. So I got that as one of my Free Comic Book Day comics. I got this as one of my Free Comic Book Day comics, Secret Empire. I'm just reading this to see if it's like about our government right now. I mean, it's very interesting I like the concept, and again, I haven't read anything of Secret Empire yet, but I like the concept of like Captain America is all American, right? I mean, he's our idealized version of an American, and he's decided that he's going to go in this direction. So it's interesting to see, what that means for people, because let's be honest, with the election that just passed, if we're truly being honest, this is how people are feeling. The direction we're going in is the direction we're going in. And instead of just saying, to the other side, well, if you don't agree with me, then forget you, unfriend me. Maybe it's time to actually start thinking, well, why are people feeling this way? Why is this kind of environment building in society right now that makes these things possible? Certainly people are thrown for a loop, and I think that having this happen, Marvel is just reflecting what's going on, right now in the world, and kudos to them for that. I don't mind. That's all right. Oh, look at this Free Comic Book Day. It's Wonder Woman Special Edition. I don't know if this is just a recopy of the first issue. So I might be giving this to a special little girl who's going to get another special little Wonder Woman thing from me if you watch my other video. So we'll see. I'll put it back here where it goes with the other things that I have for her. If she's very good and listens to her mommy. Okay. Here we have issue 12 of Future Quest. I don't know if this is the last issue or not, but I have to say that if it is or if it's not, whatever, I've just loved this series. I mean, they were promoting this for like the longest time, and everything that I saw about it, all the promo arts, all the everything, just got me so excited, and I really, really, really was like hoping against hope that it would turn out to be fun and adventurous, and it is. It's everything that I wanted it to be. I just love it. I just think it's so great. It was such a great way of introducing all these characters, because I really thought like when DC, was going to do Hanna-Barbera characters, I thought, oh, this is just going to be a disaster, right? But I really think that they got people involved who love the characters, wanted to say something with the characters. Now, not everything is 100% great, but it's enough of an introduction to this universe that they could spin off any of these people, in my opinion, into their own series now, and I would probably read it. I mean, this and the Flintstones, they were like the 1-2 punch for me of like how good all these characters are, how much potential they have, so kudos to them. DC. Kudos for everyone. But I've been loving that series, so I don't know if that's the last issue of that or not, but hopefully all those people get to have their own series. Miniseries, series, I don't care. I just want to read more about them. Here we have the 6th issue of what I'm going to start calling Justice League Orlando for the writer. Here we got some more Lobo and the Ray. This is the last issue for me because it's just not coming together for me. I'm not interested in any of these people. I usually do like a team that's just kind of thrown together, but he's not doing anything with them. And I don't see any reason for Lobo to be there. So what I'm going to suggest, because I'm sure Orlando is watching this, is that he add Midnighter and get rid of Lobo, because I think that's who he really wanted in the series. Let's be honest. It's time for Bruce Wayne and the Midnighter to do it, right? I think we've all been thinking that this entire time. So, plus he'd be a good example to have on the team while the Ray is there. Just to kind of butch it up a little. But, so, there's Butch and then there's Butch. There's Lobo and then there's Midnighter. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Here's one that I got from looking at previews. I don't know anything about it. It's called Regression. It's by Cullen Bunn, who I like his writing. He's one of my favorite writers right now, so I'm always willing to take a chance on him. I love this cover. I have no idea what this comic book's going to be about, so you'll have to wait till the next time after I've read it and the next issue comes out. But it's just kind of creepy, isn't it? It's kind of cool and creepy. Like, are those his hands or somebody else's hands holding him with the bugs? I don't know. Haven't read it yet. So we'll see with that. Here's another one that I got just from looking at stuff in previews. Ching ching. Medicine. It's Medicine. Yes. Now, these people at Action Lab Danger Zone, they do that AmeriCarate that I'm reading. And I saw this one as a preview, and I thought, what a cool concept. It's basically doctors who work on supervillains. So it's not entirely new, but it's something that I think is going to be interesting to explore. Because obviously, if villains and heroes are fighting and getting hurt, they must be going somewhere to get fixed up, right? Unless they all have healing factors and healing powers. But for those who don't, there's medicine. So and the art looks good. And I don't know. I like the concept. So we'll see if the concept holds up. I haven't read it yet. This is issue number 1. So a lot of these I haven't read yet. So I guess that, again, proves that I'll read anything. I'll buy anything. So just give me a cusp of a little bit of a something and I'm there. For example, Grass Kings. Why am I reading this? The art, I like it a lot. It's kind of that, watercolor, kind of sketchy, little bit of art. The story is sort of, well, if you're a Trump voter, you'll love this story. It's about some people who don't want things to change in a certain area where they live, even if that means depression and, no money, no jobs, just everyone kind of sitting on their front porch. So there's Grass Kings for you. There seems to be a lot of comics now that are like countrified, redneck kind of comics. Those are the main characters now. Some people are doing a great job with that concept, I think. Some people are not, but it's indicative of what's going on in our country right now. So isn't it fun when comics just kind of relate to what's going on in the world? I think so. So this next one is Redline. Another one that I've got looking through previews, but it's by Oni Press, and I like Oni Press because they did the Sixth Gun, which I took a chance on, and it's one of my favorite series of all times is the Sixth Gun. Probably not my most favorite, but one of my favorites. And so I got this one, and I really like it. It's got a sense of humor. I'm not quite sure of the entire concept, but it's basically U.S. military people on Mars kind of trying to figure out things. So it's like, are they on Mars or are they in Baghdad or Iraq? Where could it be? I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Aliens are aliens, I suppose, in some way. But it's got a weird kind of silly sense of humor in it, too, that I really like. Nobody in the comic is super, super likable, except for there's one character, and now, I don't even remember her name, but she's sort of one of the mega bosses. And she sleeps with everybody, so what's not to like about her? I just like that every time they have her, she's like, yeah, I slept with so-and-so, and what? And what? And what? So no one seems to understand her. So here's one that's going to make Scott groan. Because he likes to say, of course, I'll buy anything. And I will buy anything. If I see something and just, again, if just a little bit of piques my curiosity, I'm like, I'm going to buy that. For example, who spends $3.99 on Underdog? I don't know. Me? That's who. I'm like, there's an Underdog comic. I need to have this. This might be the first thing I've ever gotten from American Mythology Productions. I don't even know who that is. But we'll see. I mean, it's Underdog. When you're old like me, you want a touchstone to these kind of, things that you remember. It's Underdog, people. So that's going to be fun. This one from Black Mask is, again, another one of my previews finds. I don't know if anybody else reads previews or if you just read Marvel and DC, but The Dregs. Is anybody reading this? I actually like this comic a lot. I don't even know what it was that originally attracted me to it, and this is the third issue. So I've read the first two issues, and it's basically about this sort of alternative homeless life. It's homeless people. It's very noir. This character who is sort of a detective type, but he's homeless, and he's trying to figure out, the differences between some people who've gotten murdered and are being used, and why and how and all that good stuff. The art is great. The writing is fantastic. I mean, it's one of my favorite comics right now. I think it's becoming one of my favorite comics right now. I think I told you before, like most comic titles I will read for like 6 issues at least. Well, now it's getting to be 5 issues. Whatever the first story arc is. So it used to be 6 issues for a trade. Now it's 5 issues for a trade. I'm sure soon it's going to be 4 issues for a trade. But this is one I definitely want to follow till the end. So I'm not even sure if it's an ongoing or a limited series or what. But I really like it. It goes into some really strange headspaces, listening to the people talk in it, trying to figure out their realities and what's just in their head, which is just like all of us, isn't it? So, of course I would respond to something like that. The Dregs. The Dregs. Here we got issue 2. I think this is issue 2 of Penny Dreadful. So if you've been watching the show, there's a comic out now. I don't want to give too much away, but it kind of continues off of what happened in the end of the last season. The art's been great. Titan, this company Titan, I think they're from the UK. I'm not sure, but I've been loving a lot of the comics that they do. So I've been getting a lot of stuff from them, and so they've got Penny Dreadful as one of their properties. Oh look, got the first issue of Secret Empire, so I can finally read that and see what all the kids are talking about. So that'll be fun. Uh-oh, look at this. I also got the first issue of Black Bolt. Black Bolt has its own comic. I have no doubt this will be a miniseries. Because I don't have any faith that Marvel knows what they're doing with the Inhumans. Don't even get me started. I can't even start with this. I can't even with you today. But I'm giving it a try because I like the character. So I like the original Royal Family. Okay, maybe that's what my upset is. I'm old and I like the original Royal Family. I don't care about any of these new Inhumans. I tried the new Inhuman, all different Inhumans title. None of them were interesting. I don't like anything that happened on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as far as Inhumans go. This whole thing with Marvel as far as not being able to use mutant and trying to fit in Inhumans as their alternate term for, people born with special powers. Just no. Girl, no. It's too much. It's too much. So speaking of which, here's 2 of my favorite comics right now. I can't say enough good things about Extremity. If you're not reading it, please start reading it. The art is amazing. I absolutely love the storyline so far. It's going in all the directions that I want it to go, as far as being someone who is away from what makes them feel special or good. I guess this could be a whole other thing that has nothing to do with comic books, but let's be honest. Do people have to feel special about themselves? Is that the only way to get through life? If you're not special, I don't know. So what's confidence? What's ego? What does it mean to be special? I don't know. But here we are in this comic book. That's why I read comic books, so I don't have to think about this stuff. I just read the comic books instead. Obviously, I don't think about ego. But it's just amazing. So if you get nothing else from this video, please read Extremity. Please read The Dregs. I think those two titles are just amazing right now. Amazeballs right now. Redline's really good too. Here's another issue of that funny Amerikarate. So if anybody wants to take a chance on that, the art still sucks. It's terrible art, but it's just funny. I don't know. It's just funny. It has all these kind of weird ticks to it, from things, very 80s things, but, of like karate movies and Patrick Swayze and just, tough guys like this. And somebody's always showing their ass or their butt, their butt or like crotch or something like that. So it's juvenile is what it really is. It's absolutely juvenile. So I can't see this going more than 6 issues, really. So I don't know. Sometimes you just want to laugh, That's a good thing. Here's another Oni Press, The Damned. So now this is another Cullen Bunn book, and this is the same team who actually did Sixth Gun, which I liked, and they actually had already did this, I believe, as a miniseries, but now they're starting it up again as an ongoing series, so I'm going to give it a try. It looks very noir, but I loved his artwork. I don't know, there's some people who didn't like his artwork, didn't think it fit for the Sixth Gun, but it worked for me. I really got into it. I just think he has such great faces. He does a great job with faces and body language in characters, This isn't a good example, but what I'm speaking about is like, I don't like it when somebody draws the characters just standing straight up and down all the time. To me, that, it's very Kirby-esque to have a character always look like they're in some sort of motion, like they're almost lunging at you or jumping off the page, or it's just very, and a lot of comic artists don't do that anymore, mostly because I think they don't know anything about anatomy. But I really think that Hurt gets it, and I've been following his art for quite a while. What was that series that he did where there was a little kid who went to jail? Hard Time? Even in that, he was amazing. So I've been a fan for a while now, so you can start sending me free issues of The Damned. Also, I saw The Damned in Tor, so the punk rock band. Next up, we have another free comic book, DC Superhero Girls. So I'll give this a gander and maybe give this to a special little girl if she's nice and listens to her mommy. So we'll put that over there in the special little girl pile. Everyone should have a special little girl pile. Pile of shit. So now the next comic is Iron Fist. And this is issue number 3. And so far I've been liking this. This could just be 6 issues for me. The storyline is good, but this is not an ongoing title as far as I'm concerned. There's, you know what? They should just do miniseries for some of these characters, like Iron Fist at this point, especially if he's going to be on TV too. Just if you got a story, let's do that story and we're done. I mean, to say or to pretend that we're going to have ongoing series for all these, we're past that now in this day and age. People don't read ongoing series. Just write the story in the floppy, then put it into a trade, or just do it as a trade. I mean, to me, that would be even more preferable. But basically, Danny Rand is not in touch with his chi. He is looking for someone to touch his chi. And and so he's kind of going in this weird, 36 chambers kind of kung fu tournament thing to try to get back in contact with it. So he's got to fight like 7 different, people, which happens a lot in like karate movies apparently. You've got to go through challenges, right, to get back in touch with who you are. So they've done a good job with that. I thought it's been interesting so far. It's not anything like the TV show, so it's good. And the art's been good, so I'm there at least for this first storyline. It's been pretty good. Next up, I actually have 2 left. Number 2 issue of Z Nation, which it says right here in the cover, it's as seen on Sci-Fi. And I haven't watched this show. I read the first issue and I liked it a lot. I thought it had a lot of good character moments, a lot of good of emotion in it. I really got the idea of who the different members were of the military team who are trying to get this shipment to help people stay alive. Well, what happens is that it's on this boat, but this boat also has some survivors on it, and they've basically commandeered it like pirates so that they can have all the supplies, and none of the military get it. So some of them have snuck onto the boat. The problem is, of course, that everything is surrounded by zombies. So it's sort of like, how do we get to the cheese when it's being watched by a cat and then by a bunch of dead dogs? So that's for that. Last but not least, I'm really interested in this. Bane Conquest. Yes. So if I'm excited about any of the ones that I've got that are new number ones, I'm gonna have to say Bane Conquest is it. I don't know why, other than because I'm not even a big Bane fan. I don't really think he's that interesting. So maybe it's Nolan and Dixon and all of them. I think on this, I want to see what they do with Bane. It's only for 12 issues. That's not a lot in this day and age. But I'm interested in this idea also of Bane doing something outside of Gotham City, caring about something other than Batman. Because I think that character has always had that potential. I mean, he's famous for breaking Batman's back and really giving Batman this cathartic moment in his history, right? And once you've done that, you can't just go back to being a Bat villain, at least in my opinion. You can't just go back to being a Bat villain. He should want something more. I've achieved that already. Now what else is out there? Like, Batman is not a challenge for him. He's already defeated Batman. And so to just regress him as a writer or just to pretend like that never happened, I think it doesn't do service to the character. So we'll see. Plus, he's muscly and stuff like that. So I always cheer for a muscly man. It's called prayer. So those are the comics that I got so far. That I'm going to be reading in my new box of stuff. And just to go back through, I'll tell you I'm excited about this Bane Conquest, as I mentioned. I'm excited to start Secret Empire. Hopefully next time we talk together, I'll have some thoughts about that. If you are going to read any of these comics, I'm going to say my top 3 of what you should read. Okay. So I think my top 3 of ones that I would like to see you read that I have already read would be... Okay. My top 3 are going to be in no particular order, but slightly in an order. First off, The Dregs. I think that, like I mentioned, the art is wonderful. The story is great. It's very noir, which I really love noir stories. So I really keyed into that. And I just love the internal dialogue for a lot of these characters, especially the main character, who's the main. And they do a lot of crazy things with the art, too, and the way the pages are set up and stuff like that, which I just find very interesting. And, they're putting it all on the table. I've never heard of this Black Mask company before, but kudos to them. This is a great comic. Definitely get The Dregs. Definitely get Extremity. Again, it's got all the same things almost as far as that. And I guess that just shows what I respond to in a comic book. Great art, great story, and great just emotional storyline as it goes through. Like, if it's got a main character or a character in it that I can just... that's questioning, really, is the thing. Because I'm such a questioning person. I'm questioning everything. My whole life. Then I respond to that. And I just love this idea that this person, had this something that they loved about themselves, that they thought was their gift to the world, and it was taken away. And it's not coming back. So what do you do when that happens? And that is not an analogy for penises, okay? And the last one is just for fun, Future Quest. I mean, as I mentioned, every issue of this has made me so happy. It's just fun. It's just total fun, and they've done such a great job with it. So if this is the last issue, I say kudos, to those 12 issues. If it's not, I'm even more excited, and I'm even more excited after this and after the Flintstones, even Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. I only read the first 6 issues of that, but I didn't hate it. They actually had a good concept to it, so it really seems like the people who are working on this little part of the DC universe with the Hanna-Barbera characters are really giving it a lot of thought and really going for it. And it's been fun to watch and been fun to read. So those are my top 3 for this pick of all the comics I got. I have to start reading them now, so I'm going to have to say bye-bye.